Today is Thursday, March 21st.
The clubs for today are Pokemon Club in B2, Improv Club in B3,
Cubing Club in B4, iPad Club in M1,
Magic the Gathering in F6,
and Comic Drawing Club in N3.
For those of you who have band, choir, or orchestra, head to the NPR at 11:20 to get ready for Disneyland.
Also, Project Humankind will present our YCS Lunch Service Club this Friday, March 22nd.
A lesson on dog safety will be delivered by Jennifer, a professional dog behaviorist. This session will cover safety guidelines for interacting with dogs, whether adopting, meeting, or encountering strays.
If you love animals and you want to find out more about service learning, come to room G3 during lunch on Friday.
Finally, leadership is also spearheading a celebration of the Lots of Socks campaign, which is for celebrating World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st. To celebrate differences, Lots of Socks asked people to wear 2 crazy different socks, which will start conversations about differences. Now for a segment by Duffy on the March Madness kickoff.
As we come closer to the NCAA basketball tournament, we highlight the top storylines and players from the men's and women's season this year. One of the top storylines from the women's season was Iowa star Caitlin Clark, who brought a spotlight to not only Iowa but women's basketball as a whole. Clark, who just broke Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record, has got fans going crazy just to see her play, as the Big Ten announced that the Women's League tournament had sold out for the first time in the event's history. Another storyline from the men's season comes from the Purdue Boilermakers. Last season, the number 1 seed Purdue lost to number 16 Farley Dickinson. As the season is going, Purdue is 28-3 and one of the top-ranked teams in the country. Zach Edey already has his second consecutive Player of the Year award locked up. A returning cast of sophomore guards Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith, as well as a transfer addition of Lance Jones, has the team cruising along in the early part of Big Ten play. One of the biggest locks for the Sweet 16 is the number 1 ranked Houston, led by coach Kelvin Sampson. Another lock is the Connecticut Huskies, who are the reigning champs and have a stacked roster. A possible Cinderella story could come from a team who had done it before, the FAU Owls. Florida Atlantic, who beat Kansas State last year to clinch their ticket to the Final Four, could be likely to repeat for a Cinderella story again. Overall, everybody is excited to see what happens next. And thanks to Mr. Benavides, Greene will have day games playing in NPR during lunch.
Thanks for that incredible segment, Duffy. Here's another segment by, me, on Amelia Earhart. In 1928, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. The flight made her famous, but she'd only been a passenger. In 1932, she set off on another flight, this time to the pilot's seat. When she landed 14 hours and 56 minutes later, she was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. 3 years later, she became the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to California. After her first trip across the ocean, which took more than 20 hours, Amelia Earhart became a celebrity. She won countless awards, got a ticker tape parade down Broadway, wrote a best-selling book about her famous flight, and became an editor at Cosmopolitan magazine. In 1937, Earhart attempted to be the first female pilot to fly around the world, and the first pilot of any gender to circumnavigate the globe at its widest point, the equator. Along with her navigator, Fred Noonan, Earhart successfully hopscotched from Miami to Brazil, Africa, India, and Australia. 6 weeks after they began their journey, Earhart and Noonan left New Guinea for the U.S. territory of Howland Island, but they never arrived. No trace of Earhart, Noonan, or their plane was ever found. Amelia Earhart was officially declared dead on January 5, 1939. She did not survive the plane crash of her plane when she and Fred Noonan went down on their way to Howland Island in the U.S. Thanks for watching this segment, and now back to the studio.
Thanks, Keishan, for that segment.
No problem.
Our Women's History Month quote for today is, "Don't be afraid, be focused, be determined, be hopeful, be empowered," by Michelle Obama. Looks like that's all for today, Greene. Have a great day!